So, speaking of AEW, this past Sunday, AEW OG Dustin Rhodes formally announced that in 2023 he will be retiring. So, with his retirement on the horizon, do you believe that number one, what are your thoughts, impressions on his legacy, his career? And two, do you think that Goldust should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame?
Honestly, when it came to me and Goldust, I didn't appreciate him at all as a kid, at all.
Mm,
Like I thought he was weird because like I didn't understand what I was looking at.
right.
But I learned to really appreciate his body of work as an adult because like he was like not afraid to do something really odd and really obscure and just go against the grain. It was something that was like comical. I didn't agree with every little thing that he did. You know, I'm still side-eyeing him for the blackface gimmick. But outside of that weird shit that he did, I feel like he's a great talent. I think he was oops, my headphone fell out. Well, we're gonna keep the show going. Um, but can you still hear me?
Yeah. I
Can
can
you
still
still
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Got it. All right. So I feel as though when it came to like in AEW, that's when I really appreciated him because he was like I don't think people discuss this enough, but like the first year at AEW, he was like, in my personal opinion, one of the actual pillars that was trying to hold that show up. Like I feel like
Mm,
my focus, you would think it would be on Cody Rhodes because you know he kind of was like the star of AEW. At least they tried to paint him out that way. But no, my focus, like match quality wise, matches I got excited to see went straight to Dustin. Like
mm.
he had put on some great freaking matches, especially for his age. He put over a lot of talent. You could obviously see he cares for the company. He obviously cares for carrying out his family's legacy in the right way. He's very selfless. So I loved him for that. I do feel as though he did play a role in WWE. So I feel like based off of like what he did there, yeah, I do think it's Hall of Fame worthy, but at the same time, when it comes to like the Hall of Fame, I feel like anyone could get into the Hall of Fame now these days.
Mm.
But considering the stuff that he did like in his earlier years in WWE, yeah, why not induct him? You know what I mean? How old is the man? Is he in
Right.
his 50s, his 60s right now?
Has to be in his 50s. Like has to be some. I'm a look it up. But you can keep going.
No, it's just you know, I feel as though his character work shined in WWE, but his ring work definitely carried out in AEW. I wish they would acknowledge AEW in their Hall of Fame speech, but they're not. But I feel like both sides need to be addressed just because like he's very well rounded. He's
Right.
very well rounded, and I love everything that he's done and attributed to wrestling. I think he's a great person. What about you?
I agree. As it pertains to Dustin Rhodes being extremely selfless, being one of the pillars of AEW, him versus Cody at that first Double or Nothing, I believe it was, absolute classic wrestling storytelling. They did their thing with their match, and I feel like that was something that I feel like now people talk about it, but like that was one of the best matches in the history of that company. Was that brother versus brother match, and seeing him put over the young talent and hearing his stories about him behind the scenes and helping out the younger talent and being kind of like a coach or a mentor in a way is very, very interesting because that's what Dusty did, right? He was like the guy in NXT who was helping people with their promos and their character development. And to see Dustin kind of be Dusty-esque in that way in AEW, I think is really, really heartwarming. And I think that he's going to be known as that. He's going to be known as the performer who had that Hall of Fame career, but also gave back to the industry by helping out the younger guys and girls. Now, as it pertains to him being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, absolutely. Goldust as a talent should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame because when we talk about the outrageous, barrier breaking, even feminine facing type of things we never saw in wrestling, that was because of Goldust, right? He was one of the most entertaining characters the WWE has ever had, not to mention a multiple time intercontinental champion. Um, he was one of the most charismatic stars that that company had. And even in the early 2000s, right, when the brand split first got on and popping and it was '02 and '03, Goldust was one of those guys who was holding it down in any position that you would place him in. Whether you can talk about him going after certain singles titles, you can talk about him in his backstage segments, you could talk about him and his team with Booker T. When they won the tag titles, like Goldust has had a history of being placed anywhere on any show and being able to make it work. So I definitely believe that Goldust has had a Hall of Fame career and that he should be inducted into the Hall of Fame. In fact, I think that he should be inducted into this year's Hall of Fame. If Billy Gunn can be inducted as a member of DX when AEW was first starting to blossom and they were running through New York for WrestleMania, then I think that Goldust should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year in LA. I think that it makes sense. Hunter, make it happen. But we want to know what everybody else's opinions are. So if you believe that Goldust should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, let us know. But speaking of people who be shining like a mug, this past Monday night,